Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the riddles inside Goblet of Fire, Chapter 36, The Parting of the Ways.
How on earth is the chapter art for this, which depicts
The Dark Mark,
not the chapter art for The Dark Mark?
It is not the chapter art for chapter 9 or for chapter 33. And that is exactly, I was like, the art is amazing, but why it's not the Dark Mark chapter or the Death Eater chapter is beyond me.
It is beyond
beef, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense whatsoever. And one thing that I thought was going to be fun was I was like, hey, I'm using a green highlighter today. I'm going to like go ahead and like fill in
that is fun.
The snake. So if you're like looking, you know, like this is a page that you could get if you sign up for Patreon. However, I drew inside the lines so badly that I'm like, what happened to me while I was doing this? Like, it's like, I kid you not. It looks like my daughter Addison, who is 3, did it.
Sounds like maybe when Addison is coloring, you need to get in there with her and be like, I got to get some reps in.
That's exactly what's going on. Yeah. So anyway, we got an excellent depiction of the Dark Mark. Although it does have to be said, why the skull for this particular image has to have come from an alien. You know, I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know.
This person, the person whom this skull belonged had a weird shaped head.
They
did. They were weird to look at in life, you know? It's probably what turned them towards the dark arts.
That's it exactly. It's just a strange shape. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. But hey, you know what? I don't want to make anybody feel self-conscious about their skull. So
sure.
To each and every one of you out there, your skull looks lovely today.
Yes.
But yeah, so now we enter into The Parting of the Ways, chapter 36, which, by the way, is my favorite number.
There it is. And it's the second to last chapter. So the next week will be the finale of Goblet of Fire.
I can't believe
crazy.
It. Yeah. What a journey this has been.
It has been, man.
It has been a fun 36 weeks so far. So, yeah, very, very much enjoying it. I think this is a fun chapter. There's a lot of the Dumbledore Phoenix parallel situation happening in this chapter.
Yeah, this chapter does a lot to set up book 5 as well.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Lots of big motions happening, lots of very important conversations, but it all begins with a 3-word sentence, which, Jay, I will let you do the honors.
Dumbledore stood up, and then the dragons arrived. It just... I can't tell whether it's just like Dumbledore standing is what prompts them to arrive, or it's like Dumbledore stood up to start taking action and then got scorched.
Right.
You know?
Yes. It sounds like Dumbledore doesn't make it out of the space. The chair was still in sight.
Yeah.
You know,
or to be like at the end of the Two Towers, where it's like they look to the east, and it's like Dumbledore stood up, and then the dragons arrived. You know,
it's a glorious arrival.
Yeah, it's like a glorious arrival. Like they look up and there's Gandalf. Oh my God. And he brought the eagles. Yes.
Except this time it's Dumbledore and dragons.
This time it's Dumbledore and dragons.
Yeah. Gotta get our fandoms right. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I love this game that we play because I feel like it allows us each and every episode to do like a little deep dive into like contextually, why would the dragons arrive?
Exactly. what would have been there? It's
right.
a good writing prompt, you know, if you're teaching English at any level, just be like, go to a book, tell your kids this. All of you go to the bookshelf, pick a book at random, read the first sentence, add, and then the dragons arrived, and that's your writing prompt for the day. Go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's such a good prompt too. Like, yeah, you can have class in the library. It'll be great. Just go pick any book up off of the shelves and work with it. And
there you go.
You know, whatever you get is what you get, and then you just go from there.
You get what you get.
And the good news is that if you're the teacher grading those papers, then you get 30 papers all about dragons.
All about dragons, and you're like, finally something that's not so lame.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to grade one more paper about the Crucible or Edith Wharton, I mean, golly.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I can't because I forgot all those things.
I don't know anything that happens inside of the Crucible. I don't think I can name a single character.
It's so funny because you know what the Crucible is about.
What?
It's like witch burnings.
Oh, wow. Where is Florian Fortescue when you need him?
I know. You're talking about the Crucible boys.
Oh man, it's his favorite book, probably. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So where we're picking up though is we're coming out of chapter 35, where Barty Crouch has just been administered the Veritaserum and has pretty much just deluged his entire plan in how he came to work for Voldemort, how he took over Mad-Eye Moody for the entire year, and pretty much everything that he had to do to get to the events in the graveyard at Godric's Hollow. And so as we're like leaving that scene, it's sort of like, okay, time to walk away from Barty Crouch Jr. and time to go and do other stuff now. Right. Other important conversations.
Other important things. He leaves McGonagall in charge. Minerva, could I ask you to stand guard here while I take Harry upstairs? And it's too bad he didn't say it more. Like, Minerva, could I ask you to stand guard here while I take Harry upstairs? And by stand guard, I mean like literally anyone, no matter what credentials they have, don't let them in the room. Use whatever force is necessary. Do you understand?
Yes, yeah. It really is funny that like this. It's especially funny that it's given to McGonagall of all people, because it almost seems shocking that this piece of this assignment doesn't go better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's like totally let's fudge in,
I know. But I mean, it's difficult. Like, if like the president walks in and is just sort of like, I'm the president, move. You're sort of like, well, I mean, that is true.
The principal said not to let anyone in. So.
And we are in a high school, so I'm pretty sure he has jurisdiction.
Supersedes your authority, minister.
He's also the head of the Wizengamot, which I think is always one of those things that doesn't come up nearly often
Especially
enough.
When you get more context for the Wizengamot in like the Secrets of Dumbledore movie.
Right, yeah. It's like, it basically means he runs the world.
Right. And he's like, you might run the world, but I run Britain.
Right, yes. Yeah. Minister for Magic of Britain would be a demotion for Dumbledore.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. And yet he's not, it's like how being the head of the UN doesn't make you in charge of America, though.
You're right. I mean, that's exactly what it is. But it seems like the power is very powerful.
It seems like
in the context of Secrets of Dumbledore. But anyway, so McGonagall, of course, is I do kind of like this little scene because I feel like it's very representative. I feel like of McGonagall, who is like, for someone who is so very strict and to the point and like very analytical, it's like you can see the balance though of like her character, which is that like this is someone who can both have emotional range but also like be dutifully like fulfilling her task, because basically it's like she looks slightly nauseous, as though she had just watched someone being sick. However, when she drew out her wand and pointed it at Barty Crouch, her hand was quite steady.
Yes.
Like that to me, I feel like is like a great representation of like who McGonagall is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it also, I feel like when you imagine her going into like the Battle of Hogwarts here in a few books, it's like, that's the same woman who is going to like, like put all the defenses into motion. Like this is like she is a warrior in addition to everything else.
Pier totem locomotor.
I've always wanted to use that spell.
Oh, I know. If only she'd used it when Fudge walks up. And I didn't realize this either. It says his other instruction is the Snape, and he says, Snape, then go down to the grounds and find Cornelius Fudge and bring him up to this office. He will undoubtedly want to question Crouch himself. Tell him I will be in the hospital wing in half an hour's time if he needs me. And it's like, it's like if only you told him to go wait in your office, not to bring him up here to just do as he wishes by himself.
Well, and I think that's exactly it too. And I mean, so yeah, we were just kind of like saying like how we're surprised that like McGonagall basically like fails in her mission to stop anybody from interacting with Barty Crouch Jr. But like that's probably it. Like McGonagall's standing right there. She just heard Dumbledore say, like, Fudge will surely want to question him.
Right.
And so, sure enough, like, when Fudge arrives, it's sort of like, well, he did say to let you question him. And then the Dementor just sort of acts of its own accord once it gets there. So.
I know. But it's like, even that, it's like later on, Dumbledore is going to say something like, Fudge's attitude, though not unexpected, it changes everything. And it's like, oh, if it's not unexpected, then why weren't you there?
I know.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, and there's a scene later on that I think is going to be very interesting because I think it really demonstrates the extent to which Dumbledore weighs his priorities, and I'll come back to it when I get there, but I had never really noticed it before. And it's one of those details where it's like, that's fascinating that like that was important enough to merit that response, but I'll come back to that. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind, and I'll let you know when we get there.
Okay.
But now, so of course we've got Dumbledore kind of shifting gears from this like sort of very intense, very power emanating mode that Harry just witnessed him in, kind of like now Harry finally understood why he was the only one that Voldemort ever feared, that sentiment. And then it's sort of like, Harry, Dumbledore said gently. And this is where he's basically going to be like, I want you to come to my office. You know, Sirius is waiting for us there. It's like he has gone from this very intense mode to like very protective mode.
Yes.
Over Harry.
Yeah, he switches gears a bunch in this chapter to different like moods and attitudes given the situation. So you get a lot of Dumbledore in this one. I think it's interesting that also as Harry stands up, it says he also realized that he was shaking because you just got that sentence we talked about where McGonagall's hand was quite steady. So like in contrast, like McGonagall's like nervous, but she's like still steadfast, whereas Harry is starting to be like just like he's starting to crumble a little.
He's starting to crumble, yeah. And I think even that's kind of interesting based on like how Harry is going to grow in the books to come, where it's like he is still just the 14-year-old right now, and it's like there's so much growth that we're going to see out of him in the time it takes for him to get to the Battle of Hogwarts, like, you know, to where he will have the steady hand.
This is like contrasted then when like he says he realized he was shaking. This is like very different from when he like walks into the forest.
Oh yes,
you know, head held high, just like walking in to accept his fate, admiring what miracle life is at all, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh gosh, I wish I like the line is flirting in my head.
I know. He's like, what a miracle he was, like beating chest and nerve and muscle or something.
Yeah, exactly that. That's the one I was thinking of. Yep.
Yeah. So Sirius is waiting for, and then this is an interesting description. It says, a kind of numbness and a sense of complete unreality were upon him, but he did not care. He was even glad of it. That description sounds a lot like how the Imperious Curse feels. I think, you know,
you're right. Yeah. It's kind of like you're almost not experiencing anything. And like, in this case, it's almost like that blissful, like, I don't have to deal with all the things that happen in the present.
Yeah.
And that's real. Like, I mean, I know that I'm sure that anybody who's, and maybe not always, but I know that people who have gone through traumatic situations, I know when I have gone through difficult situations, like there has been an instance in my life where it was almost like, I remember like hearing this terrible news, and I remember like walking into an elevator and like walking through a parking lot through like puddles. And I remember just sort of like kind of taking like a jump step to like avoid a puddle. And it was almost like, why did I do that? Why didn't I just like walk through the puddle? Like,
right.
It was like weird, you know, it was like the puddle was the least of my worries in that moment. And yet I still like made this like hop over it.
Yeah. Well, so what he's experiencing is just shock.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
Which is like such a real phenomenon, not like, I guess phenomenon. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like, it's weird to think like, you know, when people say you're like in shock, you're not like, it's not like, oh, I was shocked to hear that. It's like a real mental state.
It's
like a physical reaction to trauma.
Right.
That has just happened.
Yes. Yeah. Right. You're right. Because it's like, oh my gosh, it was so shocking. Like that can sound as though like you were like gasp,
like surprised.
Yes. Like, oh, my stars.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, but no, shock. Yeah. Being in shock is much more just almost like completely subdued, like just, numb.
Yeah. He's like thinking about how much he does not want to think about anything that's just happened. And then as ever, he then thinks of all the things he doesn't want to think about. Moody inside the trunk, Wormtail with his, stump of an arm, Voldemort rising, Cedric dead. And the Cedric thing's going to keep coming up because it's like, he hasn't quite reached it yet, but like what his brain is processing is like, he's blaming himself for Cedric's death, which he kind of gets to at the end of the chapter.
He does a little bit. Yeah. And you're exactly right. Like it ends up being like the situation with the gold, which is just like, I mean, it's like, it even feels like poor form on Fudge's part, like, which we'll get to obviously in more detail.
Everything henceforth will be poor form on Fudge's part.
Exactly. Yep. But then you got a kind of a similar situation to McGonagall happening with Dumbledore as well. And Harry's going to ask, Professor, where are Mr. and Mrs. Diggory? And Dumbledore will say, they are with Professor Sprout, said Dumbledore.
For once.
Yeah, right.
Way to do your job, Pomona.
She has been weirdly absent.
Yeah.
But it does say his voice, which had been so calm throughout the interrogation of Barty Crouch, shook very slightly for the first time. She was head of Cedric's house and knew him best.
Yeah, not that you'd ever know it.
Yeah, because there are all these instances where like everybody else is present, notably Snape half the time, who has no business being in all these rooms, and he's always there.
Right. He's like, no, Sprout, I'll go. You stay. It's fine. You want me to go? I'll tell you. I'll take notes. Cool.
Right. Yeah.
You sit here. It's fine.
You sit here.
Yeah.
Think of herbology things.
Right. Mind the plants. Why don't you?
Mind the plants.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway.
Let's see. So then we get up to Dumbledore's office where we meet Sirius again, back in human form, his face white and as gaunt as it had been when he had escaped Azkaban. So he's just been worried sick basically since Harry's gotten into the maze, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's like, yeah, Harry, are you all right? I knew something like this. What happened? His hands shook. So now we've got yet another character who is just sort of like in the grips of it, which I even while I was reading this, I've highlighted each instance of this happening. I don't think I put together that like you've got McGonagall seeming off her center, Harry obviously off his center, Dumbledore's voice cracking, and now Sirius's hand shaking. Like,
yeah,
it's like, everyone's terrified because Voldemort's back, and these people are going to be the ones who are going to grasp it the quickest.
Yeah, like they were there,
right? But you're talking about some of the strongest and most powerful characters that we have in the whole series.
Yeah,
all of whom are like shaken to their core over the information and what's happened on this particular evening.
Yeah. So let's see. So Dumbledore, then he sits down and he basically is going to have to tell everyone, retell the story. He says he's so tired. Every bone in his body was aching. He wanted nothing more than to sit here undisturbed for hours and hours until he fell asleep and didn't have to think or feel anymore. And it's like that. He's like, that is what Dumbledore will eventually let him do. And he'll even like magically put him in that sleep.
Right.
He's like, but not yet. First, we have some work to do.
I know.
Yeah.
But it seems like Dumbledore knows and understands like why Harry needs to do exactly what he needs to do. Like there is like a method to the madness. Like this is not like the full scale cruelty of like Dumbledore's big plan as you can occasionally perceive it as. It's like, I do think he's got Harry's best interest at heart here. And realistically, I think even what we'll end up seeing in Order of the Phoenix is like Harry's going to be having that conversation with, I think it's Bill, Sirius, and Lupin about how Harry returns from the graveyard, and the first thing Harry's like, well, how did that help? And he's like, how did it help? It made all the difference in the world. You told the number one person Voldemort didn't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, so the tactical advantage that Harry is giving the Order of the Phoenix over the course of this chapter is massive.
Yeah.
Like everything that happens is all like, it really pays massive dividends.
Yeah.
But anyway, as we go to the next, couple paragraphs here, I thought this was funny because I'm pretty sure you brought this up as like a commentary on Jim Dale's delivery of Harry in a previous instance saying, hello, Fox.
Yeah.
And you were like, I hate the delivery because it sounds like he says, Low Fox.
Low Fox.
And here it is.
Here it is,
where
spelled out.
He has removed the first syllable of hello and just goes with Low Fox.
Yeah, right. There you go.
As the soft rush of wings indicates the phoenix landing on his knee.
I like the description of Fox being on him. It says there was something comforting about his warm weight on him. So if you don't know, if you are in shock, one of the things you're supposed to do for those people is like literally just put a blanket around them, like a shock blanket.
Oh, wow.
Like that is like a real thing that helps people like get out of it. So what you basically have here is Fox is acting as the shock blanket.
As the shock blanket. That's very interesting. You know, and I've always noticed that in like all the, various movies and TV shows and stuff where there's like a crime scene and the ambulance and the firefighters and everybody show up and they're, inevitably having a conversation in the back of the ambulance and they always have like a wool looking blanket wrapped around them. So that's actually like, it's not just like, hey, you're probably cold because it's like a Midsummer's Eve.
Right.
It's
it's not just like, let me warm you up. It is like, those are shock blankets. That's what that's for.
Okay. Yep. I didn't know that. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Dumbledore stopped talking. He sat down opposite Harry behind his desk. He was looking at Harry, who avoided his eyes. Dumbledore was going to question him. He was going to make Harry relive everything.
Yep.
And that is literally the next sentence. I need to know what happened after you touched the portkey in the maze, Harry, said Dumbledore. And this is where I think Sirius is like absolutely there, almost as like I think even from like the narrative standpoint, you needed somebody to say what Sirius is about to say. You need somebody to advocate for Harry on Harry's behalf and say the obvious thing. Like, we need to wait. Like, he's been through too much. And so that's exactly what Sirius says is like, we can leave that till morning, can't we, Dumbledore? Said Sirius harshly. Like Sirius is absolutely just purely looking out for Harry.
Very good looking out right here. And I love the next line says Harry felt a rush of gratitude towards Sirius. It's like, I bet he does. I bet he's just like, yes, please. Thank you. Thank you so much for understanding
exactly
what is going on right here. And then this next line, so many things Dumbledore says in this chapter are like so important, but he says, if I thought I could help you by putting you into an enchanted sleep and allowing you to postpone the moment when you'd have to think about what happened tonight, I would do it, but I know better. That is such an interesting line because it's like, how do you know better? It's like when he says, but I know better, that what that means is because I did that. I did that and it's worse. So what did he do?
Well, I mean, it has to be Ariana.
It has to be
right?
Ariana.
Yeah. Like, I mean, because he says, but I know better. Numbing the pain for a while will make it worse when you finally feel it. And I also think that is a thing that is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's very wise.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it probably, I'm sure that even like biologically speaking on shock, the reason that shock happens, I imagine, is because it gives you a way to like give your body is basically judging how you're reacting to the moment and like giving you enough time to like start to like ebb off, like as the shock ebbs off or whatever, so that you can start to feel the gravity of the situation.
I feel like it not to switch books or anything, but like in there's a good description I feel like in the Name of the Wind,
our other favorite series,
which boy, let me tell you, if we ever start a podcast about that one, they talk about how there's like doors in your mind or whatever, and it's like behind this door, like there's like the sleeping door, and like that's where you put like hard to process memories or whatever.
Right.
And there's a moment where like the main character is like, suffered through his parents' death. It's very Harry Potter-esque in that way. But it's like he goes years before he like reopens the door, and then when he does, sure enough, it's just as Dumbledore says, it's like it is like horribly painful, and he has to like really deal with it.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I think it's a really good way to describe exactly what's happening, which also, just for another accolade to Name of the Wind, just does a lot of good like observational type stuff about like the world. I feel like I reference it all the time. So anyway, we would recommend that book if you haven't read it already, and maybe we'll do a podcast on it one day.
Yeah.
But in true fashion though, it feels like you've really got like a collaborative effort going on between Fawkes and Dumbledore in this particular situation, which also kind of fits like that, like a phoenix will always come to a Dumbledore in need. Like Dumbledore is able to work hand in hand with Fawkes over the course of this conversation, basically to like help facilitate the conversation that needs to happen next. Yeah. So first you've got Fawkes showing up and being kind of like the shock blanket, as you've already pointed out. And pretty much what Dumbledore is saying now, like, you have shown bravery beyond anything I could have expected of you. I ask you to demonstrate your courage one more time. I ask you to tell us what happened. And then Fawkes is going to let out one soft, quavering note. And it says that Harry felt as though a drop of hot liquid had slipped down his throat into his stomach, warming him and strengthening him.
Does something else he drinks have that description? Is it like fire whiskey?
It could be.
I think it is.
I think it might be fire whiskey when he is at the Burrow after the Battle of the Seven Potters.
I think so. Yeah. I would. Yeah, maybe have to go check on that at some other point. But yeah, that is what it reminds me of.
That would be interesting if fire whiskey was somehow a Phoenix product.
Even fire. Like fire,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be so fascinating.
That would be.
How about that?
Yeah.
So there's flu powder you can make with Phoenix, and
that
then
we think,
fire whiskey.
There you go.
These are both unconfirmed, but observations that we firmly plant our flag in. I guess. Boom. Anyway, so
okay, so we speaking on Dumbledore's big plan though. Which we'll do an episode about here in a couple weeks. But it says the line, "You have shown bravery beyond anything I could have expected of you." That feels very Dumbledore's big plan. It's like, why would Dumbledore like be expecting stuff, from Harry? It's like he's saying, you've shown bravery beyond what I could have expected from you. And the truth is, I have been expecting bravery from you,
Right. Well, and I think that's really like, what is, I think when you go back and you read the tea leaves, so to speak, it's like Sirius clearly is looking at them. You know, he's seeing all the signs, he's seeing all the indicators. Like, he wants to be close to Harry because he feels like something is in the works. It seems like Dumbledore is also like he's combing through the pensive memories. Like he kind of also seems to know that something is the foot, and Sirius and Dumbledore are in direct correspondence about this very thing. So it kind of is like the year one situation over again, where maybe Dumbledore doesn't know quite as exactly what is going to have to happen for Harry, but he certainly is like, Harry's name got entered into the tournament. Like, that's no coincidence.
Yeah.
It's Harry Potter, like the subject of the prophecy, the one who Voldemort at the same time birthed
right. There was the other prophecy. Yeah.
Right. Yes. So it's like, you know, he must know, like, I don't know what's coming. I don't know the extent to which Voldemort could come back. And that's probably where, like, Voldemort is actively inventing new brands of magic in order to recover to the extent that he is able to. So, like, maybe even Dumbledore's like, well, he's going to make another play, but I don't know what it could be. And probably the least he expected was like a full-fledged, fully reborn Voldemort.
Right.
You know, like having to go actually head to head with him. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like, Dumbledore is almost maybe permitting Harry just to continue forward because, like, it's like, it needs to happen. It's going to happen. And there's not much we can do to stop it.
Yeah, they've delayed him a few times, but here he is back in the flesh. And then so the Phoenix song gives him the strength to kind of start telling the story again. And there's some just nice wisdom here. It says, Harry's shoulder, but Dumbledore raised his hand to stop him, and Harry was glad of this because it was easier to keep going. And now he started. It was costing him every bit of determination he had to keep talking, yet he sensed that once he had finished, he would feel better. It's like, that is like such a true thing sometimes. Like, sometimes, like, it feels so bad, but once you start talking about it, it's like you go through it, but in the act of talking about it, it like just like helps you process it. And then, like, once it's out there, it's like you are now sharing the burden rather than carrying it all on yourself. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Did you read the line about, like, poison being extracted? Yeah, like he felt almost as though something poisonous was being extracted from him, and it's like, that's it. That's exactly it. Like, and I think that's a big thing that Dumbledore, like, that's why he's like, you need to do this. Like, you need to do it, and you need to do it now, and it's not going to be comfortable, but, like, that's where we're at. Then so we get this is the next really, like, we're going towards what you and I regard as the single most important sentence in all of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So it's about to happen. And it says, when Harry told of Wormtail piercing his arm with the dagger, however, Sirius let out a vehement exclamation, and Dumbledore stood up so quickly that Harry started. Dumbledore walked around the desk and told Harry to stretch out his arm. This is the moment that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, like, I thought so.
Yeah. So it's like you leave Minerva in charge of watching Barty Crouch Jr., you're willing to permit a situation where it's like, this is a very valuable asset, but I trust someone else to be able to do it. Even on the basis of all the information that Harry is telling him, he is willing to take Harry at his word. Like, he is just like, I am listening to your story. I don't think you're making anything up. I trust you. You're telling the truth.
Right.
But when he talks about the blood, this is the thing that Dumbledore is like, I have to see it. Because my whole knowledge about everything that I do going forward is going to hinge on this.
Yeah.
Because this is the moment that leads to the gleam of something like triumph in Dumbledore's eyes.
Yeah.
Which that is the moment that Dumbledore's big plan changes entirely from raising Harry like a pig for slaughter to knowing that Harry can survive the final sacrifice.
Right.
And it's so massive. It's so important that, like, Dumbledore is unwilling to even just take Harry's word for it. It's like, maybe you believe Wormtail took your blood. I need to see the cut.
I need to look at the cut and know what's going on. And then, but what also, it feels like there could even be another layer to it where it's like, Harry told of Wormtail piercing his arm with a dagger. However, Sirius let out a vehement exclamation. So I feel like Sirius's reaction is interesting too, because he doesn't know anything about, like, the sacrifice and the blood magic and all that stuff.
That's where I just think Sirius hates Wormtail.
Well, Sirius hates Wormtail, yes, and the idea that he, like, physically harmed Harry is just, like, abhorrent to him.
Right.
But it's like, and then Dumbledore wants to come inspect it and, you know, look at it too. But it's like, it feels like they're like, oh, like they're I don't know. There seems to me also like both of them are like, wait, blood magic is in play kind of thing.
Oh, yes.
You know, like that could mean a whole number of things.
Right.
You know, like that is bad news.
we have just entered into, like a whole new arena of, oh goodness.
Yeah. Yes. However, for Dumbledore inspecting it, you're right. It does lead to. We made a whole video about this one little paragraph right here, which is kind of the most important, or one of the most important lines, at least in terms of like the turning point of Dumbledore's attitude, the foreshadowing for the reader. For a fleeting instant, Harry thought he saw a gleam of something like triumph in Dumbledore's eyes, but next second, Harry was sure he had imagined it. For when Dumbledore had returned to his seat behind the desk, he looked as old and as weary as Harry had ever seen him.
Yeah. And the really crazy thing, and I'm glad that you brought up the fact that this is so important for the reader's experience themselves, is because like we as readers, so often it's like we're engulfed in the story. We want to go page after page. We want to hear what happens next. So it's like certainly it's almost like you could tuck in sentences that don't even fit inside of the paragraph. And it's like, how much would you really even be like, why did it say that?
Yeah.
Like chances are you would just like move right on by, turn the page again. And it's like, it's put in the rear view, nowhere to be seen again.
Right.
And that's what's crazy about this line in particular, because it's a night of woe. It's a night of loss. Like so many bad things have happened. And it's like, for you, the reader, it's like there's this moment where like the leader, the guy who knows everything, you know, the Dumbledore character has a gleam of triumph. We don't get a payoff for this in this book. We don't know why.
We don't get a payoff until King's Cross Station.
Yes, we are 3 full books away from knowing why this happened.
Yeah, and what the Gleam of Triumph was.
Right. And this is the moment where like it's even the first thing that they talk about in King's Cross Station. Like Dumbledore pushes Harry to try to understand what happened. And Harry goes, he took my blood. And Dumbledore's like, precisely. You know, it's like
Harry figures it out.
Right.
At long last. But it's like, I think part of the reason Dumbledore is like, let me see, is because like you're up until this point, it is like what Severus says is like, you've been raising him like a pig for slaughter. Like Dumbledore already knows Harry is a Horcrux. And he's like, I don't like you're going to have to die like that. Like, there's no way around it. Like
right.
Voldemort can't die as long as you're alive. And I don't know what to do about it. And he's like, it's like, you can tell Dumbledore just been like hoping, like some solution has got to present itself to me
right
at some point. And he's like, oh my God, what? Oh, do we have a way out? Whew, okay, we got a long way to go. A lot of things still have to go right, but wow, okay. There's hope.
Yes, and I think that's the thing, is that's why he immediately goes back to looking old and weary as Harry had ever seen him, is because, and that's exactly, I wrote it in my book, because there's a long way to go. But like, the thing that you still have to realize is that the young boy in front of you who shouldn't have to live this life in the first place and shouldn't have this type of responsibility thrust upon him is still absolutely going to have to be the boy who grows into the man who can walk into the woods and face death intentionally.
Right.
He has to mean to die.
Yes.
And that is like, you don't want to ask that of anyone.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing is, he can't tell him about it, because once if you tell him that, then there's no way. It's like, it almost becomes impossible to go in there. Like if you think you can survive, you won't. Right. Exactly.
You have to think you're sacrificing yourself.
You have to like know you're sacrificing yourself. So it's like, then Dumbledore is like, the answer's there, but I super can't tell you, because if I tell you that you're okay, you'll stop being okay.
Yes. This is like buying your loved one like the perfect Christmas gift too far in advance, and you're like, I got you something, and I can't wait for you to open it. I can't wait for the experience of watching you open it, but I can't tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's good.
I know. But this is also like, it's like someone sent you the package and you're holding it and you're like, I'm pretty sure it's in there.
Yeah, right.
There's like it's probably there. I think it's gonna work.
Right. Yeah, but I like the next line. He says, "Very well," he said, sitting down again. "Voldemort has overcome that particular barrier." Harry,
even
continue, please.
He just moved it around.
Right, exactly. Yep, and he's barely overcome it.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah. Let's see here. Then the next thing that we kind of get that I think is really powerful is it says, "But when he reached the part where the golden beam of light had connected his and Voldemort's wand, he found his throat obstructed. He tried to keep talking, but the memories of what had come out of Voldemort's wand were flooding into his mind. He could see Cedric emerging, see the old man, Bertha Jorkins, his father, his mother."
Bam.
And then then Sirius breaks the silence there, and it's sort of like, I don't know. This I think that this is a really big deal for Sirius as well. Like, it's very difficult for him to hear all of this is happening, because as far as Sirius is concerned, is that like his own two best friends kind of materialized.
Yeah. The wand's connected. Why? This is like, it's a sort of, it's a weird answer. And then I like the way Dumbledore answers it. It's priori incantatem. He muttered. Muttered is such an interesting choice of words here, because it sounds to me like he's just like priori incantatem. Like he's like halfway in a memory or something.
That's exactly how I interpret it. Yeah. It's like the usage of the word muttered.
Yeah.
When it's not like more of like a bright, like priori incantatem. Like,
right.
Like no way. Like, I mean, because you have to imagine like Dumbledore is somebody who like, witnessing priori incantatem is not even like a once in a lifetime type of thing that you might witness. It's probably like a once every couple generation type thing that seems like it would happen in this capacity.
In this capacity, yes. But so like when he says it, when it says he muttered, to me, it's like, because he's remembering when it happened to him.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And the big thinking here, and this is where like I almost want to give the credit to everybody involved with the Fantastic Beasts type stuff, because the story was so wayward and confusing and strange and odd and stuff. But there was one detail in particular that ended up being like a really unusual, like, I'm not going to quite call it like a leak, but like a modification.
Yeah. A telling modification. A
telling modification, which is that when the original promotional image for Crimes of Grindelwald came out, Dumbledore is holding a particular wand.
Right.
Like this is Jude Law Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And we actually have, there are like a couple of like images of what that wand looks like. And it's really, really cool. But they ultimately go on to change his wand in a way that's like very distinct, very specific, and it changes it a lot. But the wand that we saw the first time resembles an Elder Wand.
Right. It's got that like sort of like segmented look to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thinking there is almost that like if each of the Peverell brothers potentially made a wand from the same thestral, per Dumbledore's own observation, that the Peverells were not, they didn't meet death on a lonely road. They were just simply gifted wizards who succeeded in making those powerful, dangerous objects. Like the idea there could be then that if the Elder Wand has a brother wand and Grindelwald had the Elder Wand, then Dumbledore was using a brother wand.
Yeah. Yes, to the Elder Wand, and could have experienced priori incantatem. And then if you watch even in Secrets of Dumbledore, like they never address it by name or anything, but like when Grindelwald and Dumbledore are dueling at the top of whatever tower they are, where the vote is happening for Wizengamot, that's exactly what happens. Their wands connect, and there's even like a little orb moving back and forth.
Yeah, it's like
it is what happens.
It's what happens. And it's like, this is where, it's so frustrating because you just don't know like what the film people know. And
right.
it's like you realize like it's fine to have the wands connect, but you need to know what it means if they connect. And so it's like
did they just make an interesting special effect for like visual flair, or is there plot in those special effects?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's the question right there. So it's like, we're sitting there thinking like, whoa, priori incantatem, like that must mean right. what it means. It means that, if he's using the Elder Wand, that Dumbledore has his brother.
Right. But like canonically it makes sense because he knows exactly what happened.
Right. Yes.
It's like, how could anyone know this?
Right. Yes. Because that's even Sirius's response to it, is that like, he says like the reverse spell effect, said Sirius sharply. Like, it's like, Sirius knows it as the spell that was used in the woods outside of the Quidditch World Cup earlier in the same book,
right?
Where they pick up Harry's wand and they're able to use priori incantatem
to do a spell check.
To do a spell check. That's good. Do a spell check and see that the last spell that it did cast was in fact the Dark Mark.
Yeah.
And so like as far as Sirius is concerned, he's sort of like the reverse spell effect.
Like
that's how I read him saying it.
Well, but like, and you know what? It's like there's a lot of it's so interesting that it works out this way for Harry, but it's like he doesn't really answer why. He says like, well, when two wands are forced to fight each other and they're brothers, they do this. And it's like, yeah, but why do they do that? You know?
True. Yeah.
Like, and it's like, if you're just two innocent kids, like, and you had the same wand, like if Fred and George, as twins had wands from the same unicorn or whatever.
Sure.
Like if they did this, it was like, oh, look, they connected. Oh, made your wand fart or something. It's like,
right.
It's like for Harry and Voldemort, it's this like big, crazy, dramatic moment because there's a lot of murder involved and stuff. But if if just two people did this, would it necessarily be so epic and like extraordinary?
Right, like, I mean, exactly. Like it almost seems like there would be, I forget what the rule is, but I want to say it's something like all it takes is maybe like 28 people in the same room for two of the people to have the same birthday. Mm-hmm. And it's like one of those things where it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like it seems like it should take 366 people, because then you have one person for every single day of the year and one more person.
Right.
And it surprisingly doesn't take that many people. And so you could almost imagine a world where it's like, surely two people outside of the Hog's Head got into a, slightly drunken duel and just so happened to cause this to happen.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
Whoa,
that was a weird one. What was that?
It's like, what kind of dragon heartstring do you have? No way. Me too.
Way. You think it was the same dragon?
Did we just become best friends?
Woo!
Yeah. Anyway, all that to be said, it can't happen when it comes to there are no other brother wands to Voldemort and Harry's because Fawkes only gave 2 feathers.
Right.
And they came from, obviously, Fawkes.
And this is where we learn that fact. And it's like, this sentence to me was part of the reason for the entire Fantastic Beasts movie series is this Phoenix, in fact, he added. And it's like, because that is a really cool fact that Harry's wand is from Fawkes.
Right.
It's like, that's really cool. But also, so what? It makes no difference that it came from Fawkes, other than maybe the next sentence, which is Mr. Ollivander wrote to tell me had bought the second wand the moment you left the shop 4 years ago. And it's like, that's the only relevant reason is that Dumbledore knows right away who owns the Fawkes wands.
Yes.
But like, otherwise, like, it doesn't matter that it's from Fawkes specifically. It could have come from any Phoenix,
Right.
Like it just... Even this letter, like Mr. Ollivander wrote to tell me that you'd brought Voldemort's brother wand. That would also be perfectly believable.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like we needed more information, especially because the timing, and again, we go back to Fantastic Beasts, which I apologize for doing so much. It's just where we have a lot of Dumbledore lore. But like, we know that Tom Riddle was born in 1926, which means that he would be going to school in 1937 when he's 11 years old, which means that by the time 1937 rolls around, 8 full years before his duel with Grindelwald, that Dumbledore will have already come into possession of Fawkes because that is when he would have had to have given the feathers to Ollivander to make into wands.
Right.
For Tom Riddle to get it. So it means that Harry's wand, for all intents and purposes, has probably been sitting in that dusty box of shelves for 49 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I
wonder. No, I've got that math wrong because I was thinking of the Chamber of Secrets. But you know what I mean? Like it's been a long time.
It's been since 1937, right? At least.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So and Harry's born in 1980. So that's going to be, let's see here, 54 years?
43 years?
40, why am I doing this so wrong?
I don't know. 37, 3 to 40 plus 40. Right? No,
because Harry doesn't get it.
Is, so 54, 43, 54. 44, you got it right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Ding, ding. We did it. Math budget not paid this week, y'all. Sorry about that.
Apparently.
54 years that wand sat there. It did its waiting.
54 years of it in Ollivander's.
Yeah.
Watching all the other
Wands get sold on a dime store shelf.
I was going to say, are we getting
we got the Sneaky Pete.
That's a Toy Story 2 reference that 4 people got.
Yep.
I make that joke because last week I made a Goofy movie reference that 4 people got, and a bunch of people wrote in the comments that was like, I was one of the 4.
I was one of those 4.
There we go. Yeah,
so if you guys got the Sneaky Pete reference, let us know.
That's right. We see you guys, just so you know.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. So now we got to continue. Okay. 2 wands, brother wands, will not work properly against each other. A very rare effect will take place. One of the wands will force the other to regurgitate spells it is performed in reverse order. The most recent first, and then those which preceded it. He looked interrogatively at Harry and nodded, which means, said Dumbledore slowly, his eyes upon Harry's face, that some form of Cedric must have reappeared. And then, Diggory came back to life, said Sirius sharply. No spell can reawaken the dead, said Dumbledore heavily. And it's like, that's another one of those, like, Dumbledore's relationship with the Resurrection Stone.
Right.
Is very much sort of like, it's like, even the Resurrection Stone cannot reawaken the dead.
Yeah.
Like, even it has that limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he says, all that would have happened is a kind of reverse echo. That's all. That's all that would have happened.
He's like,
I know. It's nothing so serious as that serious. All that would have happened is like a shadow, perhaps, Harry, came out, spoke to you from the boy that just got murdered. That's all that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all. See, nothing can raise the dead.
Nothing can raise the dead. Yeah. He spoke to me, Harry said.
Well, he spoke to me. That's not all that happened.
The ghost Cedric, or whatever he was, spoke. An echo, said Dumbledore.
Yeah, an echo, Harry, not a ghost, not even a ghost.
Right, yes. Which retained Cedric's appearance and character. I am guessing other such forms appeared. Less recent victims of Voldemort's wand.
Yeah.
An old man, Bertha Jorkins, and your parents.
Your parents, yeah. Yes. So I thought he already said that, but he starts thinking about it. He doesn't actually say it. Yeah, your parents. Yes, said Harry. And then Sirius is like, you saw James? Did he mention me?
Did he mention, how is he?
Did he have to snitch?
Was he doing the stupid thing with his hair?
Oh, yeah. The last murder is the one before it, said Dumbledore, nodding. In reverse order. More would have appeared, of course, had you maintained the connection. Very well, Harry. These echoes, these shadows, what did they do?
Yes. Yeah. And so Harry goes through and he kind of explains, like the golden web and the way in which Cedric asked to bring his body back to his parents. And this is the point, I think, where like Harry is like, he like the numbness is like sort of, I don't want to say wearing off because that doesn't really feel like the right way to describe the situation, but like he's feeling it. Like at this point, Harry found that he could not continue. He looked around at Sirius and saw that he had his face in his hands. Yeah. So maybe this is the moment I was really referencing before, but like you can only imagine for Sirius, like, and everything that even the way in which Sirius blames himself, like he feels as though he murdered James and Lily. Like right. he may as well have.
Right.
Because of everything that he did. And so, for him, even Sirius is having to really come, face to face to ghost.
Echo, Harry. Echo.
Face to echo.
That's all.
Yeah, with James and Lily.
Actually, you can sort of see, you're right. At this point, Harry felt he could not continue. It is interesting because it's actually relevant for all 3 characters in the room at this moment, where Dumbledore is like, I think that's going to have to be the end of the story here. Because Harry blames himself. He feels like he probably as good as murdered Cedric.
Right.
Sirius feels he as good as murdered James and Lily, and Dumbledore feels like he as good as murdered his sister.
Right.
So all 3 of them, I think Dumbledore and Sirius and Harry, like they are both able to like hear this part of the story and be like, well, I think it's time to change the subject.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. We've reached a point here.
And Harry's like, what? Because it got hard for you two all of a sudden?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but then Dumbledore says like it's interesting what Dumbledore says after this too, where he's sort of like where he realizes Harry has reached like a breaking point, where maybe Harry hasn't even quite realized that he feels responsible for Cedric's death, which he's not, by the way. But Dumbledore recognizes that's what's happening, perhaps before Harry has reached that conclusion too. And Dumbledore is like going to remind him right now. And I feel like he's maybe even talking to himself a little. He's like, Harry, you have shown bravery beyond anything I could have expected to you. He says it again. You've shown bravery equal to those who died fighting Voldemort at the height of their power. You have shown a grown wizard's burden and found yourself equal to it. And you have now given us all that we have a right to expect. Bam. So it's like, he's sort of like, just know that what you have done tonight is extremely brave, Right. Like it is not your fault. He's not saying that, but I feel like he's trying, to not say those exact words.
Right. Well, and I'm curious as well, because I sort of mentioned the fact that like Fawkes and Dumbledore kind of playing like a little bit of like a tag team throughout the course of this, where it seems like they're not really working like, based on like a choreographed plan, but it seems like Fawkes kind of keeps like doing the right things at the right time.
Yeah.
But like it's this moment like where Harry can't continue, where Fawkes also basically like leaves his knee, resting its beautiful head against Harry's injured leg, and thick pearly tears were falling from its eyes onto the wound left by the spider. The pain vanished, the skin mended, Harry's leg was repaired. It's like, do you think any part of that is almost sort of like a cue from Dumbledore to Fawkes, or Fawkes reading the room appropriately, that like, you have spoken the hard things to speak. Like this is when healing occurs. Or even if it's like a symbolic, like literary type thing that's happening, is like why wouldn't Fawkes heal Harry's leg right away?
Right.
Or is it even that like Harry has made the Phoenix cry like through his story?
Oh.
Like, and it's almost the type of thing where it's like the Phoenix can't just produce the tears. Like it needs the proper like impetus in order to do so.
Well, I mean, I would say that is an interesting theory, other than that he cries basically on command to heal the basilisk wound.
I mean, also true, except he would be crying because Harry would be otherwise dying.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
It's like, whenever I feel like someone's going to die, I cry. That they're better.
They're better. This works out well. It's a very weird. What's the thing with the dogs and the bells and the salivating?
The Pavlovian response.
The Pavlovian response. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm around death, it makes me cry, and then it heals them, and everything's better.
Everything's better. It's great.
I have a very complicated emotional roller coaster at the heart of myself.
That's why Fawkes was bursting into flames.
That's it. Yeah.
I just feel too many things.
I feel too much. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm back. I feel better.
I feel better. Somebody's got to talk it out, You got to burn it out.
Yeah, burn it out. Yep. Anyway, so yes. So Harry, finally, Dumbledore does offer a sleeping potion, which is the thing that basically at the beginning of this conversation that he was just sort of like, if I could put you into an enchanted sleep, I would, but like it would not help. And now he's like, sleeping potion.
Yeah. So, now it will help.
Now it will help. Now we're there. Yeah. So we're learning a lot about trauma, all of us together here.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's okay to talk to someone. Okay. So we make it to the hospital wing. Harry saw Mrs. Weasley, Bill, Ron, and Hermione grouped around a harassed-looking Madame Pomfrey.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what this group of people, especially with Mrs. Weasley at the helm, is like, someone is going to give me answers, and they're going to give them to me now.
Right now. Meanwhile, Madame Pomfrey is just like, listen. I don't know anything about Harry. That man's been locked in a trunk for 9 months, okay? He really needs attention. Seriously badly.
Right. It's like, he's fine. We saw him earlier today. He's doing okay.
Yeah. It's like I doubt it. I doubt it.
You didn't, though.
Yeah.
Harry. That's I think Molly running towards him. She started to hurry towards him, but Dumbledore moved between them. Molly, he said, holding up a hand, please listen for a moment. Harry has been through a terrible ordeal tonight. He has just had to relive it for me. What he needs now is sleep, peace, and quiet. And I love the way that Mrs. Weasley spins around and she's sort of like, did you hear that? He needs quiet.
Yeah. Like, you lot, shut up.
It's like, Mom, you also only just learned that.
I know. I love she just like, what did Dumbledore say? All right, that's it. Everyone quiet. Yeah, it's very funny, like, turn.
Yes.
For
exactly.
her. You're like, I have some directions now.
Right. And I think even for like the show, when they eventually get to this moment, that has the opportunity to be like a very light moment in what is otherwise going to be a very heavy episode.
Yeah, I think so. But it's also like it's interesting. It's like, this is like that Olaf quote in Frozen 2 where it's like, this is called controlling the things we can't control or something.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. This is called controlling what we can control when things feel out of control.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's what Mrs. Weasley's doing. She's like, What can I control? That. Okay.
Yes.
Because everything feels pretty wackadoo right now.
Pretty wackadoodle Rex. Yeah. It's like it's like Bill, Ron, Hermione, shut up.
Yeah.
I feel better.
I feel better. Okay.
I'm helping.
I can do things again. Yes.
Yes.
There we go. And then this is a confusing thing that happens here because he says basically the dog's going to stay here. Don't worry. He's super well trained. Definitely not a person or anything.
Right.
But he says, I will be back to see you as soon as I have met with Fudge, Harry. I would like you to remain here until tomorrow morning until I have spoken to the school. So like these instructions don't feel like they add up because it's like he says I would like you to remain here. I will be back to see you as soon as I have met with Fudge. But he's also going to give him the potion to go to sleep. But then he's also going to leave to go talk to Fudge. But then he's not going to go talk to Fudge because Fudge is going to go talk to Barty Crouch and Harry. So what's going to happen is Harry's going to go to sleep. Dumbledore's going to leave the room. Be gone for a little while Harry sleeps, in which he doesn't talk to Fudge. And in that time, Fudge talks to Barty Crouch Jr. and gets his soul sucked out. And then he comes to the hospital wing to try and find Dumbledore, who is apparently looking for him.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Like, wait, what?
We need like the almost like exploded view of the castle and like where everybody goes for like the next like half hour.
Right.
Because I don't think it's very long that Harry will end up being asleep before the rest of the chapter takes place.
Yes, which also makes me think like, what a worthless potion.
I know.
He wakes up out of this sleep.
Well, and I think it says he drank a few mouthfuls and felt himself become immediately drowsy. Everything around him became hazy. The lamps of the hospital wing seemed to be winking at him in a friendly way through the screen around his bed.
So maybe he just doesn't finish it.
I think he doesn't finish it. And then they're actually going to like remind him later. It's like, you need to finish the rest of your potion, Harry. But yeah, it's like you can imagine what Harry and Ron what Ron and Hermione are going through in this situation as well, because they are dying to know what happened to their best friend. And normally this is like the Golden Trio has like trust beyond all trust. Like they are the ones who are allowed to know about the Horcruxes. They are the ones who are allowed to know like all of the information. Like they are always included in the plan. Like Dumbledore knows how essential friendships are to Harry being able to enact everything that he needs to enact in order to be successful. And so you can only imagine that they're just sitting there like they're like, what happened? And it's basically like, well, Harry's got to go to sleep now. And it's like,
right back to where we were.
Yes. Well, at least we know where he is now.
Yeah. Yes, and he's alive and okay. And that, but like as Madame Pomfrey's putting him in bed, he notices the real Mad Eye Moody, and he's like, "Is he okay?" And she's like, "He'll be fine." And I'm like, "Will he? Will he be fine?" Because you want to talk about some trauma.
Well, here's one thing about like Moody's character, and I'm dying to know how it looks through the lens of us reading the way that we're reading right now, is I have always felt like as far as Moody is written, like there is one line, I think in Order of the Phoenix that is basically like, it occurred to Harry that he had never actually had a real conversation with him before. Or like, I think Moody says a comment where he's like, didn't get much teaching done, did I? Or something like that. But I always feel like Moody, the way in which the rest of them have a relationship with Moody always assumes as if the experience they had with Barty Crouch Jr. was still somehow like kind of authentic.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Hermione's like really upset like when he dies, and it's like, Hermione, you didn't really know him.
I didn't really know him that much.
You have not spent almost any time with Mad Eye Moody at all.
I know, right? So
not that it doesn't make it any less scary when somebody as like powerful like him goes down. But,
yeah.
But still, I always think that's kind of interesting as he does recover.
Yeah.
As Moody does recover.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
There's a line here that says, Ron and Hermione were looking at him almost cautiously as though scared of him. That's an interesting line because it's also like how Harry then feels like everyone's looking at him after the snake attack in the next book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Harry's afraid that it's him.
Yeah. That he's the one who attacked Mr. Weasley somehow, that he became a snake in the night and attacked Mr. Weasley.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But that is obviously that I don't think they're scared of him. They are just scared in this moment. Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, Harry does end up taking a little bit of the potion. He's supposed to drift off to dreamless sleep, which honestly sounds kind of amazing the way that like the entire sequence.
I'm like, man, does this potion exist?
I know. It's like, I kind of want some.
That'd be great.
Yeah. But Harry woke up and it says that he had a feeling that he couldn't have been asleep for very long.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like the key line there, because the room was still dimly lit. It was still definitely nighttime. He heard whispering around him, and this is where I guess like noises are coming from down the hallway, but they're not legible, but they're coming through the door.
Yeah. says, nothing else could have happened, can it? And it's like, oh, if only.
If only.
If only.
It'd be nice if nothing else had happened.
Something else has happened.
Right.
Yep. But so basically Fudge is barging in looking for Dumbledore, who I guess didn't find him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Now Harry could hear people too. He could hear them too, people shouting and running toward the hospital wing. Regrettable, but all the same, Minerva, Cornelius Fudge was saying loudly.
Right. So he hasn't quite lost. At this moment, he's still saying regrettable.
Right.
So he's not like completely convicted yet, but that's going to change real fast.
It will.
Yep.
You should have never brought it inside the castle, yeah, Professor McGonagall. When Dumbledore finds out.
Yeah, now he's being accused by McGonagall, setting the tone here.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Where's Dumbledore? Fudge demanded of Mrs. Weasley. That's
like she knows.
Yeah, I literally wrote 3 question marks. Like, why are you asking her?
Are you yelling at Molly?
Right, yeah.
First of all, how dare you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know how when you're looking for important people in a hospital, you just go and like ask one of the patient's loved ones.
Yeah.
Like, where's the head of this hospital?
Right. But it is a good question because as like we said, when Dumbledore left, he was apparently going to find Fudge.
That's true. Yes. And it's sort of like, this is kind of like the basis more than anything from like a writing standpoint, because it's like you need these characters to all be in the room to have what is otherwise probably an incredibly inappropriate conversation to have with bystanders present.
Yeah. Well, Dumbledore tries to move the conversation and it just sort of like escalates out of his control. And he's like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
I guess we're doing it. Everybody's just, now I don't have to relay it. Now they know. But yeah, so I like the fact that Mrs. Weasley is basically standing up to Fudge in this moment. She basically says like, he's not here. This is a hospital wing, mister. Don't you think you'd do better to... And then Dumbledore basically walks into the room and immediately he's kind of back to like intense mode.
Yeah.
What has happened? Said Dumbledore sharply, looking from Fudge to Professor McGonagall. Why are you disturbing these people? Minerva, I'm surprised at you. I asked you to stand guard over Barty Crouch.
Yeah. He can tell McGonagall. She's like, well, don't look at me.
Yeah, there's no need to stand over him anymore, Dumbledore, she shrieked. The minister has seen to that. When we told Mr. Fudge that we had caught the Death Eater responsible for tonight's event, said Snape, he seemed to feel his personal safety was in question. He insisted on summoning a Dementor to accompany him into the castle. He brought it up to the office where Barty Crouch...
Oh, it's just like, if only he had not done this, you know? What if he'd actually been able to question him? Like, would it have made a difference? Would he have been like raving mad, you know?
Probably. I mean, he's so determined not to believe it, but I guess we have to assume that it would have made a difference because the fact that he has been given the Dementor's kiss, it changes everything.
Yeah.
So it's just another way in which the Dementors in this particular case are just continuing to aid Voldemort's plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's if only he'd waited for Dumbledore. If only, because then they walk in the room. The Dementor swoops down on Crouch and Dementor's kiss. You feel like this was probably the Dementor that was like on duty, you know, when this happened, and he's been made fun of for a while. It's like, wait a minute, what happened to Barty Crouch? Yeah, who was on duty then? Bill? No, Dementor Bill. Okay, bring him into my office.
That's it. Yeah. Dementor Bill.
Dementor Bill. Bill is a bad name for this joke because there's a different Bill in the room.
I was gonna say.
Sorry.
That's okay. How about Chops?
Chops. Oh, where? What's that? Yeah, 2 people have escaped now. Who was it? Because it was Chops on duty when it was. No, it wasn't. No, not Chops again. Chops. Yeah. Then someone's like, "Oh, the minister needs an escort. Send Chops. Who wants to go across the North Sea right now? Oh, I know who we're sending. Chops, get down here.
She's telling
fly
me.
across the ocean right now.
There better be food for me when I get there. I'll tell you what.
Escort the minister through a school. My God, I went to Dementor Yale. I mean, come on.
I went to Dementor Yale. I have this plan to undermine all Dementors by creating what I want to do is a black hoodie with a pink Dementor embroidered on it.
Oh,
yeah. I think I brought it up before, but I'm pitching the idea once again.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll call it Chops.
The Chops hoodie.
The Chops hoodie. Yeah.
I always felt a little different than the other Dementors.
That's right.
It's the clothes, Chops. We're gonna kind of got this whole like black spooky thing going on, you know.
You are wearing all pink.
Yeah.
It's like
your escape record is 2, and he's like, Chops shows up and he's like, lucky day. I will be redeemed.
This is gonna work out so well. Back home, everybody's gonna think I'm so
then
cool.
Then he gets home and they're like, yeah, we're not doing the prison thing anymore. He's like, no, wait, what? He's like, yeah, we're joining Big V. He's back. Apparently some Death Eater at the school revived him. Is it gonna be like a big party? I'm like, what? Who was it?
No.
Barty Crouch Jr., the guy you let out. It's like, guess all's forgiven, eh?
Right, yeah.
Guess that worked out for us. It's like,
Yeah, like, Chops, what's that on in your mouth?
Nothing.
Why does it look like you have a little bit of, you been eating some souls?
You been a little soul there, Chops? Poor day for Chops the Dementor.
Oh,
Thought he was doing the right thing.
It's too good. It's too good. Anyway,
by our counts, he has no loss. So yeah, the Fudge just like what on earth difference does it make? Like he's dead anyway, and he does not see the problem with this at all. He's just like, well, it doesn't even matter if I talk to him. He was a Death Eater, no loss, people died, and Dumbledore's like, yeah, but he can't give testimony. Like why don't you see that as a problem?
right? Yes,
Yeah.
it's like for all, and really this is like almost a thing for like all of next year in like Order of the Phoenix. Harry's like, this is why. This is why it would have been helpful to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you didn't think it was like that big of a deal, but now my life is miserable.
Yeah.
And it would have made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, he's like, why he go to the... Well, that's the mystery. He was a raving lunatic. From what Minerva and Severus have told me, you seem to think he's been doing it all, and you know whose instructions. It's like, oh, Cornelius.
Yeah.
Oh, honey.
Lord Voldemort was giving him instructions, Cornelius. Yes. Those people's deaths were merely byproducts of a plan to restore Voldemort to full strength again. The plan succeeded. Voldemort has been restored to his body.
Yeah, this is like bad delivery and timing and circumstances for this news to come out. It's like maybe if you could have like sat him aside and be like, so here's the whole story and here's what I have been told so far.
Right.
By these sources at these times. And instead he's just having to like rush it all out. And he's just like, no. Not only are you wrong and not trusting the right people here, but Voldemort's back. Just gonna throw that in real quick.
Right. Yeah.
Cornelius Fudge is like, wait, what?
Not only
that's quite a claim.
A grave error in allowing the Mentor into the school. In the meantime, hey, you know, like the worst wizard who ever lived, he's back too.
He's back too.
Yeah, so you're gonna have fun with that. You know who returned? Preposterous. Come now, Dumbledore.
Yeah. Cannot stomach this reality. And then this is another one where I don't always love the Jim Dow delivery. It's like, see here, Dumbledore. see here, Dumbledore.
Yes. You can't seriously believe that you know who. Back. Come now. Certainly. Crouch may have believed himself acting upon you-know-whose orders, but to take the word of a lunatic like that, Dumbledore?
Yeah, and it's so frustrating. He's really trying to talk himself out of the situation. It's even the way he's phrasing it, it's like, it kind of sounds like he knows it's true, but he's like, I just can't believe it. I can't let myself know that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And you know, it's funny because like this happened to me, you know, just last week where, you know, maybe not like being like the head of a nation and, you know, having like the worst person ever returning, but you know, at like 2:00 in the morning, my daughter woke up and had, you know, gotten sick in her bed. And
oh no.
It's like one of those moments where like you wake up and you're looking at her and she's like, I threw up. And you're like, yeah, okay.
Oh, I guess I'm up.
I am up. We are now. I will be doing laundry in the middle of the night. So yeah, that's that. Ooh.
It's a good one.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. It's like you're like, how bad could it be?
How bad could it be?
Yeah, it's probably fine, right?
Right.
It wasn't fine.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I guess I'm doing laundry. I guess I'm giving somebody a bath.
Yeah. I was up for like an hour and a half after that. So
was that last night?
No.
Oh.
This is like last Thursday.
Okay.
So,
I was like, man, you did not mention this.
No.
Yes. And then let's see. Then Dumbledore tries to. He's like, he realizes like this is not going well. It's like, just let's go up to my office. Let's have some drinks. You want a drink? Go fudge.
Some hot chocolate.
Have some hot chocolate. Maybe some butterbeers. Some oak matured mead. Drinking buddy. No. Okay, fine. And then Dumbledore is like, you know what though, but you can't talk to Harry. And Fudge is like, he's like, you're prepared to take Harry's word on this, are you, Dumbledore? And I like this moment right here. It says there was a moment's silence, because I think this moment of silence here, and then followed up by, certainly I believe Harry, said Dumbledore. That is mirrored by Harry in the next book, I want to say. No, Half-Blood Prince in the garden with Scrimgeour.
Right.
And he's like, this is the you're Dumbledore's man through and through. But this right here is you're Potter's man through and through.
You're exactly right.
This is it. This is where Dumbledore pays it first.
It gave me chills a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so great. It goes exactly back to what I said. It's like out of all the things that Harry said, Dumbledore is like willing to believe. He's like, I believe everything you're telling me. Like,
yep.
I believe that you were telling me the truth. He's like, I do need to see your arm.
Yeah.
That matters for you reasons, and I need to know.
Yeah. Yes.
For certainly. But yeah, so there is that pause, Sirius growls, and then Dumbledore's like, certainly I believe you.
I love that Sirius is there. Like, Fudge is like, he can't be back. Also, have you seen Sirius Black? I've got bigger problems. He's like, no.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
He is most certainly not in the room with you right now.
Right now.
I did
kind of growling
I
at
knew
you.
nothing about it.
Nothing about it. Nothing at all.
But then you also get the line, his eyes were blazing now. And that's like another one of those like Phoenix moments where it's like as like calm and warm and gentle and strong as Dumbledore may be, he also has the heat to him that kind of keeps coming up. But basically he just says like, I heard Crouch's confession and I heard Harry's account of what happened. And it's like the two stories make sense. They explain everything that happens since Bruce Jorkins disappeared last summer.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because it's like Fudge is almost just like on like repeat. It's just like, you are prepared to believe that Lord Voldemort has returned the word of a lunatic murderer and a boy who, well.
I know. And then this is where Rita Skeeter's article from that morning comes into play. And it's like, oh my gosh, if she hadn't written that article, would Fudge have taken this a little bit more seriously?
Right.
Hard to know. It's hard to know.
Yeah, and it's actually Harry who brings it up. It's like, you've been reading Rita Skeeter, Mr. Fudge.
Yes.
And then everybody's like, whoa, you're awake?
Whoa!
It's like, oh man, there's so much information that you probably didn't need to know, but now you do.
Yep.
Well, you probably did need to know, but anyway. Fudge is a little bit embarrassed, but also a little bit defiant and obstinate. And he's like, and if I have, and it's sort of like, you know what it means if you have that you're reading pure chaos,
right? Yeah, it's like you must know that. You must know that. Right. And he said, but then he's like, if I've discovered you've been keeping certain facts about the boy very quiet, and you're like, is it Dumbledore's responsibility to tell Harry's secrets to people?
Yeah, you know? Right. Yes.
Like, excuse me, Dumbledore. Next, you're going to tell me that Ronald Weasley hasn't kissed anyone yet or anything. I need reports on these things.
Right. What are Harry Potter's secret powers? Also, what's Ronald up to?
Yeah, come on,
Has
Dumbledore.
He met Lav yet?
Yes.
They have met. They have not fallen in love yet.
Running a country here, Dumbledore, and you're keeping secrets? I don't know about that.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I know. It's like it's not Dumbledore's secret to tell, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So then we kind of have like the whole thing where Fudge is just basically like, yeah, but his scars hurting? It's probably just hallucinations.
Yes. And it's like he's really struggling for a way out here. He says, "You'll forgive me, Dumbledore, but I've never heard of a cursed scar acting as an alarm bell before." And it's like, well, if you'll forgive me, Fudge, but I bet you've never heard of someone surviving the killing curse before either, and yet here Harry is. He's a weird one. What can I say?
He is the actual definition of weird. Like not in behavior or character or anything, but like the way that he's here right now, pretty weird.
Yeah.
His circumstances very unique. So it's like even that. It's like I'm surprised that he even jumps to the curse, like as if. And he calls it a cursed scar. It's like, you don't think there's any chance that there could be like ripple effects from that? None whatsoever.
I know.
Especially from the person who gave it to him.
Especially because part of Rita Skeeter's article was that like cursed scars can like could do things.
Right.
I just didn't read that part, whatever.
Right.
That part I didn't take seriously.
Well, and then Harry immediately chimes in. He's like trying to name Death Eaters. And I can't help but think that starting with Lucius is a bad strategic play because Fudge obviously knows most of the things that go on at Hogwarts. And so when Dumbledore writes his like weekly letters, he's probably like, yeah, Draco and Harry, we're back at it again. You know, as they always are.
Yes,
Right. Draco said something about like, oh, I'm going to tell my father. Kids these days.
Right.
But anyway, so he's like, Lucius Malfoy. And then Snape makes a sudden movement. And he's like, McNair, Avery, Knott, Crabbe, Goyle. And it's like, like all clear, now working for the ministry. You are merely repeating the names of those who were acquitted of being Death Eaters 13 years ago.
Yes, it could have looked them up at the reports of old trials. And it's like, Boy, you really think Harry's doing his homework on this lie, don't you?
Right. Although, to be fair, Harry has gone and witnessed the trial where these people's names were named.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
He doesn't name Snape.
He doesn't name Snape. Do you think that's why Snape makes like a sudden move in that particular moment?
Oh, yes. I think he's like, whoa, wow, hold on a second. Yeah.
He's like, hey, don't bring up my name, okay?
No, don't talk about me right now.
Right, yep.
Yeah.
The boy can talk to snakes, Dumbledore. You still think he's trustworthy?
It's just open bigotry now.
It really is. Then McGonagall's like, you fool.
You fool. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, you could just tell she's steamed.
What's so frustrating is how he's going to say, I see no evidence to the contrary, despite mountains of it.
Right.
He's like, my scar has been hurting. I've got 2 eyewitness accounts. I've got names of Death Eaters who were there. Bertha Jorkins is dead. Cedric Diggory is dead. Snape's even going to walk up and be like, I've got the freaking dark mark. What do you got for that?
Oh my gosh. The way in which he can skate past that one is sort of like,
that one's maybe the most annoying.
It really is. It's like, that was a good piece of evidence
I know.
that Snape was willing to share with you just now. Okay.
I know. And especially this one, McGonagall, just like, Cedric Diggory is dead. Like, he's dead. How do you explain that? He's dead.
Right.
It's like, what does Crouch think happened to Cedric Diggory? Not Fudge. What does Fudge think has happened to Cedric Diggory? That, like, Barty Crouch Jr. just murdered him, I guess?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, like, what exactly? It's like, why are you not more concerned about that?
Right.
Like, but maybe it's the same thing as like the Bertha Jorkins, where it's like, we'll find her. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, let's not disrupt the chaos. Okay. People are really enjoying Witch Weekly's Most Charming Smile Award.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's literally the next thing he says. It seems to me that you all are determined to start a panic that will destabilize everything we have worked for these last 13 years.
Literally Voldemort's goal.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, I have no idea what it is like to be running a government or anything. And so but on some level, it's not that I can't understand like the scenario where it's like, hey, let's not freak everyone out right away, like until we have a plan. But like also it's okay for, I don't even know how I think is the right way to handle that is. Like, I understand not wanting to cause a panic, but it's also like, you should still believe them. You should still vet it.
Yeah.
At bare minimum. Like,
right.
Like give it more attention. Like, these are like prominent people who you are talking to. They're reliable sources. So anyway.
Yeah, but now Dumbledore, rather than having a nice calm meeting, he's got to jump to the chase here on a bunch of random things. It's like he starts trying to like sell him on his ideas for how to fight Voldemort before he's accepted it, and that is just a bad move, I think, by Dumbledore, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because he's like, listen, okay, I know you don't believe me, but hear me out. What if you remove the Dementors away from Azkaban? Okay, that's the first thing I think we need to do.
Point number 1, hey, let's get rid of prison guards. Point number 2, you remember the giants who like most people think are like super dangerous? Everybody was really upset that Hagrid was like a half giant, and like that was a really big deal. We should probably go talk to the giants.
We should go do that, bring them back, right?
So I mean, and to be fair, these are the exact plays that Voldemort enacts. And
yes.
I mean, like, he even says when he is like speaking to the Death Eaters after returning is like, the Dementors will join us. They are our natural allies. And so it's like, Dumbledore is exactly correct, but it's like he's pushing the buttons that Fudge does not want pushed.
I know.
Yes.
I can't even imagine, like he says, the rest of us, or Dumbledore responds like, the rest of us sleep less soundly in our beds, Cornelius, knowing you have put Lord Voldemort's most dangerous supporters in the care of creatures who will join him the instant he asks them. Like when they first put the Dementors at Azkaban, why didn't people think this? You know?
Oh, why wouldn't it be like a bigger concern?
Right.
Like for them to join the Death Eaters?
I know, because certainly the Dementors were on his side last time. It's like, we rounded him up, and guess who? Guess what? Good news, everyone. The creatures guarding him are going to be Voldemort's other biggest supporter. So, good news.
Right. I know.
We were like, problems. Question about that.
I have an issue.
Here in the front. Right here. Call on me, please.
You.
Yeah. Yes. What if they let them out?
That would be a problem.
That would be a problem.
Yeah. But yeah, so then of course everything that Fudge keeps responding with really has to do like with his own personal image. He's like, if the magical community got wind that I had approached the giants, people hate them, Dumbledore. End of my career. Yeah. And it's sort of like, he's not thinking about, like it's funny because a lot of times the villain will use the argument of the greater good as their basis for enacting their evil plan. Like it's like that's why it was Grindelwald's like mantra.
Right.
And it's so interesting because for the greater good is sometimes associated with villains, but like this is, like Fudge is basically saying like, that's bad for me.
Right.
Like he's saying the exact opposite. Like, let's not do things that are better for everybody. Let's do the thing that's best for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how he's going to be acting here. And Dumbledore's going to call him out for it. Big time. I love this entire passage where he says, "You are blinded by the love of the office you hold, Cornelius. You place too much importance, and you always have done, on the so-called purity of blood. You fail to recognize that it matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. Your Dementors just destroyed the last remaining member of a pure blood family as old as any, and see what that man chose to make of his life." And it just says, like, if you do what I'm saying, you will be remembered as one of the greatest ministers ever. Fail to act, and history will remember you as the man who stepped aside and allowed Voldemort a second chance to destroy the world we have tried to rebuild. And like that's literally exactly what happens. Like that is how he's remembered. He doesn't listen to Dumbledore. Voldemort does come back stronger than ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that like Fudge eventually realizes exactly that Dumbledore was right when he's talking to the other minister, the opening chapters there of Half-Blood Prince, is that he's just basically like, I'm sacked, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also interesting that like the Dementor has just destroyed the last remaining member of the pure blood family, as old as any, because even that I think fits, like it's the hypocrisy of the whole situation. It's the fact that Voldemort himself is the half-blood who has pure blood mania. And here you've got one of his most obvious allies destroying a pure blood wizard. And
right.
It's just sort of like, what?
Yeah.
Like everything about the dark side is so convoluted and confused.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like they can't figure out who the enemy is.
Right. And then we get the line that names the chapter. It says, if your determination to shut your eyes will carry you as far as this, Cornelius, we have reached a parting of the ways. You must act as you see fit, and I shall act as I see fit. Which to me, what he's really saying there is, you must act as you like, and I shall act as I see fit. It's like, we all know who's really in charge anyway, which is me.
Which is me.
It's like,
head of the Wizengamot.
Right. Yeah. It's like that scene at the end of Infinity War where Thor and Star-Lord are like, we all know who's in charge here. It's like, it's me, right?
Yeah.
Of course. We're like, we all know who's really in charge.
It's Thor. Yeah, but I do like the way in which Dumbledore phrases everything that comes next. It's like he's basically saying like, or Fudge is going to say like, if you're going to work against me, and Dumbledore's just sort of like, the only person I intend to work against is Voldemort, and it's like, if you are against him, then we remain on the same side. It's sort of like
I don't have anything to say to that.
Exactly. It's like, it's sort of like, like basically all Dumbledore is saying is like, I'm not against you. It's like, you can still do what I'm going to do. I'm going to fight Voldemort. You can either choose to join me or I'm going to fight Voldemort.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And Fudge is like, no. See, because here's the thing is that Voldemort's not back. And if you're fighting Voldemort and being public about it, then basically you're fighting me. Because you're causing a panic.
You're going to make me look bad in front of all my friends.
You're make me look bad in front of my friends.
Yeah. Some of
like,
whom were probably...
Dumbledore's like, you're going to look bad because you're going to be losing a war, Cornelius.
Exactly.
It's like, I can't lose a war that's not being fought because it's not here. And it's like, it is here. It is here, though. But like, he's like, no, he's not back. I'm afraid not.
He can't be back.
Can't be back.
He can't be.
It can't be true because I don't want it to be. Therefore, it's not.
Right.
So.
It sounds like we're on repeat, but it's because he keeps saying it in the chapter as
yes.
well. But yeah, so Snape strode forward past Dumbledore, pulling up the left sleeve of his robe as he went. He stuck out his forearm and showed it to Fudge, who recoiled. There, said Snape harshly. There, the dark mark. Snape the whole time is standing there like, don't make me do it.
Don't make me.
Don't make me do it. I have an ace in the hole. Don't make me do it.
Yeah.
And finally, he's like, see, and he doesn't see.
And this is the worst one because it's like, this is the cold, hard proof right there.
Right.
He's just like, look, you know I was a Death Eater. This, secrets, look at it. Look. Karkaroff fled. You know that. You were down there. You know he fled. This burned. This is how it works. This is exactly how it works. It wouldn't work if Voldemort wasn't back. Okay? You got it? We good? He's just like, I chose not to hear that.
Right. Yes, exactly. It's like... What does Dumbledore say when they're talking in Hagrid's hut? He's sort of like, I have gone temporarily
Yes, I have gone temporarily deaf.
Yes. Yeah.
Seems to be Fudge in this situation. He's like, I'm going to choose not to see this.
Right. Yes.
So.
Yeah. I don't know what your staff are playing at Dumbledore, but I have heard enough. I have no more to add. I will be in touch with you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, to discuss the running of this school, which is basically the big Umbridge setup.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. And he's about to leave when he remembers that he has not given Harry your winnings, he said shortly, taking a large bag of gold out of his pocket and dropping it onto Harry's bedside table. 1,000 galleons. There should have been a presentation ceremony, but under the circumstances. To which I wish Harry's like, which circumstances?
Yeah.
Which circumstances?
Which circumstances?
Why isn't there a ceremony for my bag of gold here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that, dude.
It's like, well, Cedric died. It's like, who killed him? Why is he dead?
Why he dead? And he'd be like, it was Barty Croucher Jr. Be like, it wasn't. It was Voldemort. Saw him.
Yeah. Well, it was there.
So Fudge leaves and Dumbledore is basically like, okay, well, thought that was maybe going to go a little better. Instead, I have things to do now. I've gone from super powerful mode to caring mode to where on earth is Fudge? Oh no, he didn't. To mad at Fudge to now I'm got to be like Phoenix mode again, and now I'm in charge mode. I got to be big time leader mode. This is like what he does here is like big Captain. So many Marvel references in this episode. It's like it reminds me in the first Avenger movie where he's like, set a perimeter here, get these people out over there, do that. And he's like, why should I listen to you? And then he's like, oh, okay, that's why.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. So he immediately looks at everybody in the room and he's just sort of like, Molly, can I am I right in assuming that I can count on you and Arthur? And Mrs. Weasley is like, yeah, obviously.
No hesitation.
No hesitation, which is pretty cool because they were not members of the First Order of the Phoenix, notably. Right. However, Molly's two brothers, Fabian and Gideon Pruitt, were.
Yes. And they died.
And so the big thing there is that they were raising like young children, and now they are parents to 7 children, and they're like willing to like join the fray. So it's like, I mean, that's a lot of major bravery to put forth in that particular moment.
Also, fun fact, if you don't know, the Fred and George are semi-named after Fabian and Gideon. Like that's the F and G.
The F and G. You're exactly right. But yeah, so I like the line. We know what Fudge is. It's Arthur's fondness for muggles that has held him back in the ministry all these years. And I even love that line too, because like, I think that, Arthur's whimsicalness is easy to lead you to underestimate him, and he's not to be underestimated. Like, he is a great wizard, and it's sort of like as soon as he has power thrust upon him, he does well with it. Yeah. So he's kind of like Harry in that particular way.
Then he basically says, Minerva, I need to get Hagrid in my office, possibly Madame Maxime. That's setting up it's exactly what Dumbledore immediately said to Fudge. He's like, we're going to get rid of the Dementors and the Giants. And he doesn't have much power to change the Dementors, but he's like, Hagrid, Olymp, let's go. We're going to send envoys to the Giants now. Right. Yesterday.
Yes. And that's something as well where like if you're power reading through the series, like you might be able to surmise what Hagrid's up to. Because when you get to Order of the Phoenix, like they get there on the first day and it's like Hagrid's just like missing. And then he continues to be missing for a while. Yeah. And then he shows up and he's like super beat up and you're like, what happened? Right. So yeah, it's like that's exactly what they're up to. And they're pretty much going to spend the whole summer like kind of traveling there and doing that type of thing. Let's see here. Then Dumbledore directs at Poppy, aka Madame Pomfrey, and says, would you be very kind to go down to Professor Moody's office where I think you will find a house elf called Winky in considerable distress. This is like one of those things where I also just love Dumbledore because like there's major things going on, like world ending possible things. And he still has like a moment to spare to like consider the house elf Winky, who is not like, doesn't have a specific role the same way that everybody else does. Like he's just like, can you just go comfort her? Which I suppose if nothing else also gets Madame Pomfrey out of the room so that he can speak to Sirius, who can resume his usual form.
Yeah, he says 2 of our number 2 recognize each other for what they are. Do you think he means Molly or Snape though?
I think he means Molly.
Okay.
Yes, because I think Snape knows that. It's almost surprising that Snape has not been like more clued in to who Sirius is in this scene. But it's Mrs. Weasley who screams and sort of like, shrieks like, Sirius Black! And Ron's like, Mom, shut up.
Mom, be cool, dude.
Come on, he's our friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do have the line from Snape who goes, him, he snarled. What is he doing here? And it's like, you should know. You should know. You've seen parts of this before. He is here at my invitation, said Dumbledore, looking between them. As are you, Severus. I trust you both. It is time for you to lay aside your old differences and trust trust each other. I will settle in the short term, said Dumbledore with a bite of impatience in his voice, for a lack of open hostility.
That does not last.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. It kind of goes on to be a problem. And really, I think it's a lot of like Snape prodding Sirius that ends up leading him to going to the Ministry of Magic next year.
I know.
Leading to his death. So
that's certainly how Harry reads it.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think he's wrong.
I don't think he's wrong either. Yeah.
Yes. Now I have work for each of you. Fudge's attitude, though not unexpected, changes everything. Sirius, I need you to set off at once. You need to alert Remus Lupin, Arabella Figg, Mundungus Fletcher, the old crowd. Lie low at Lupin's for a while. I will contact you there.
Woo, Lupin! Coming back. Also, Arabella Figg is, of course, if you're just reading this for the first time, which obviously no one listening to this is,
right.
But Arabella Figg is Harry's across the street neighbor, Mrs. Figg with the cats, who, like, if you were like a really careful reader, you might have been able to piece that together. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is like where, like, if you're power reading through the series and you pick up the next book and you're like a few chapters in, it's like, hey, there's Mrs. Figg. It's like, wait a second.
What the what?
You could figure it out faster.
Also interesting that Dumbledore is going to call Mundungus Fletcher part of the old crowd, because when Moody shows Harry the photo of the other Order of the Phoenix, he doesn't like point out Mundungus in that photo.
He also doesn't like Mundungus.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So that could be why. But that's a fair point. It's a fair point. But yeah, Mundungus also provides a very specific function where it's almost like having like a criminal on staff to help you do criminal things when you're not a criminal organization.
Yeah, but then his first task is just going to be to watch Harry, which he does such a bad job at that he allows Harry to get attacked by Dementors.
Yeah, also true. True. It seems like they probably could have picked anyone else more important.
Yeah.
Harry's kind of an important piece in this whole puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you'll see me very soon, Harry, said Sirius, turning to him. I promise you, but I must do what I can. You understand, don't you? And Harry's kind of like, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, don't leave, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, and then this is where you also get the big setup for Snape to go back. It says, Severus, you know what I must ask you to do if you are ready, if you are prepared. I am, said Snape. And so it's just like so vague, and yet it's also kind of like, as we continue to press forward, it's sort of like as much faith as you're willing to place in this moment might lead you to believe like that he's not evil even when he kills Dumbledore.
I know. Well, the fact that he also he does there's been a few things here. It's like Snape showed up in the faux glass when they were confronting Barty Crouch Jr. He showed Fudge the dark mark on his arm, and he accepts this job right here. So he has like 3 really good moments in the end of this book.
Yeah, that are all kind of like leading you to believe that, like, okay, maybe there is something good to Snape.
Yeah.
But that's all we get, like, so we don't have any more information, and as much information as we've gotten, this is one that's left very, very low, in terms of what everybody else in the room may surmise from it. Just then good luck. And Snape swept wordlessly after Sirius. So the other thing that we're going to ultimately know happens when Snape is ultimately talking to Bellatrix at, oh my gosh. What is Snape's home?
Spinner's End.
Spinner's End, thank you. Is that hours after the Dark Lord's return, Snape showed up to him, thus enabling him to maintain his cover at Hogwarts, where, as far as Voldemort is concerned, he's able to kind of continue to be like a spy for Dumbledore. But that's where the double agent thing comes in as well. Let's see here. And then finally, at long last, Dumbledore says, I must go downstairs. I must see the Diggories. And so he's finally going to go talk to them.
Yes.
So
and then let's see. Molly tells him he basically has to go back to sleep. You have a good long sleep. Try and think about something else for a while. Think about what you're going to buy with your winnings. And Harry's like, I don't want that gold. Anyone can have it. I shouldn't have won it. It should have been Cedric's. And then this is the sentence says, the thing against which he had been fighting on and off ever since he had come out of the maze was threatening to overpower him. He could feel a burning, prickling feeling on the inner corners of his eyes. He blinked and stared up at the ceiling. And so this, Harry is finally sort of like coming to terms with whether or not he thinks he is the one responsible for Cedric's death. And he's kind of feeling like he's starting to think, yes, I am.
Yes. Yeah. And because Mrs. Weasley kind of like reads his mind. She's like, it wasn't your fault, Harry. And then Harry's like, I told him to take the cup with me.
Like, if I hadn't said that.
Yeah. And he says he wished Ron would look away, which is, it's like, that's so devastating too, that it's just like, he's like, just don't look at me. I'm not proud of what happened. But it sucks too, because it's like, you can understand. I mean, you can understand why Harry might end up in this particular position, but it's like the really when he was like sharing the cup with Cedric, it was like sharing the honor, sharing the glory, doing it together. Hogwarts champions both win. Like, you know, it's like it's so devastating, like the way that it ultimately shakes out, because obviously like both of them taking the cup was not malicious. Like,
right.
There's no way Harry could have known what was going to come next.
Not at all. Not at all.
So
yeah.
And then you kind of get like a really special moment. And this is like one of the things that really has always grown on me a lot, is just the relationship between Harry and Mrs. Weasley, because in this particular moment, Mrs. Weasley's not saying anything. She just hugs him.
I know. God, the sentence, he had no memory of ever being hugged like this as though by a mother, is like, oh no.
I know.
Oh, that just like punches you right in the heart. That is whew.
And the thing is that it's like, it's not just like a mother. It's like Mrs. Weasley sees him as a son.
I know.
So it's like, it is as a mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the loud slamming noise, which kind of breaks up the moment a little bit, because Hermione is standing over by the window. She was holding something tight in her hand and she just goes, sorry.
Yeah. And of course, what she's doing there is catching Rita Skeeter in her beetle form.
Right. Which this is a whole thing that we had to go down, which is, was it okay for Hermione to capture Rita Skeeter in this particular moment? Or would it have been better for Rita Skeeter, who literally just witnessed the entire conversation between Fudge not believing Dumbledore and Dumbledore insisting that Voldemort is bad?
Gosh. Everything Rita just got was just, this giant argument between Dumbledore and Fudge. That's huge news right there.
Right.
She saw Sirius Black return and learned that he's an animagus. Saw Severus Snape reveal the Dark Mark and the rules around it.
Yes.
Like, there is so much juicy stuff she just saw, and Hermione's going to be like, nope.
Yep, exactly.
It's like, maybe some of that would have been good. Maybe some of it would have been good. I think in the video we determined it wasn't good.
It doesn't ultimately make the difference. Yeah. So I think so if you'd like the full deep dive on that, you can see our published works.
Yes.
But any which way, now Harry does finish off the rest of the potion. The effect was instantaneous. Heavy, irresistible waves of dreamless sleep broke over him. He fell back onto his pillows and thought no more. That brings us to the end of chapter 36. Jay, do you have a review for us?
I sure do, Ben. Let's see if I can pull it up for us here. Oh man, I hate it when I don't get the sorry, I don't have your username in here, but perhaps you recognize your own review.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
Let's hope so.
Great podcast. What are the highlights of my week? Very insightful comments. My question is, what if the Dursleys were killed, sheer coincidence, by Voldemort? Who would take Harry in this world if Sirius was still framed? Is there any chance that Dumbledore himself would take Harry? So basically just like, what if the Dursleys weren't around?
What if the Dursleys are around?
Yeah.
And that's in an instance where it's not from Voldemort. Is that what they're saying?
I think it says either by Voldemort or I think either way, it doesn't really matter. Just like maybe in his quest to find the Potters, he kills the Dursleys or something. You know?
Sure enough. So the Dursleys are not the people to accept him. The main thing that we obviously have going on there is the bond of blood charm that Dumbledore is able to invoke on behalf of Harry, and it essentially protects him whenever he is considering the Dursleys' house his home.
Right. And that is his only, it has to be a blood relative for that to work, and there are no other blood relatives for Harry. So
yes. And the really big thing is that that's a really powerful piece of magic. Like it's like as powerful as Voldemort may be, it's literally, or even as powerful or safe as you might be at, Hogwarts or Gringotts or with Dumbledore himself or whatever. It's like Dumbledore sees it as the safest possible outcome for Harry in terms of not being reached by Voldemort. So that's obviously like a super big deal. But then, I mean, there's a lot of things that immediately spring to mind for me. Like obviously if Sirius is still a convicted felon as of, when Harry would be just a baby when this would happen. So like, where does he go that first night if the Dursleys are already gone? I mean, it vaguely reminds me of like the Ron and Hufflepuff series where we sort of like lean on the Weasleys.
They're such the obvious family.
Yeah, because it seems like, like they ultimately see him as a son. Anyway, we know that lots of wizarding families would have offered to accept Harry and take them on as their
Right.
own.
The other family that comes to mind is potentially like the Longbottoms, I suppose.
Sure.
You know, if they think, you know, because like they would have been in a very similar boat. They also would have been in the order with James and Lily.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yes. Assuming nothing then ultimately happens to them, because they won't be attacked until a few weeks following the death of James and Lily. So
exactly.
That could end up
then
being
that could be bad too.
even-
then
right.
you, right.
even further devastating.
Right. But then it's like, then would Harry and Neville be raised by Neville's grandmother, I guess, sort of?
That seems like it would be really bad for Neville.
It could be. I don't know. Maybe it'd be good for them. They'd have each other.
They would have each other. That would make a huge difference. I mean, what Neville needs is like his friends. Like people to empower him.
The Weasleys seem like the answer, though.
The answer. It's hard for me to imagine it being Dumbledore, because I think that Dumbledore in a lot of ways, I think he does go to great lengths to almost keep Harry, like, he loves Harry. And I think that that's something that like McGonagall like goes out of her way to tell Harry after his death in Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
I think that's when she says it. But I think that Dumbledore has to be careful, because and again, it's the thing we covered in tonight's chapter is like the Gleam of Triumph. It's like Dumbledore knows what has to happen to Harry. He has to die. And so I think that
he doesn't know when he's a baby.
Well, maybe he doesn't know he's a baby. That's fair. But either which way, I think that Dumbledore is going to try to keep Harry at a safe distance.
Yeah. Because eventually he's going to say, "Do you see the flaw in my grand plan? I cared for you," or whatever.
Yes.
I cared more about your childhood than you defeating Voldemort or whatever. I guess the Weasleys still make the most sense, I think, or maybe the Longbottoms, and then maybe like as a like in the vein of if Sirius is in Azkaban, but like the Potters had named their best friend his godfather, then like maybe Lupin is the next another person that could be on the list as their other best friend.
Lupin would have been great.
Yeah,
that would be an excellent choice.
Right. I mean, there's the whole he's a werewolfness of it all, but like that doesn't really seem to bother Dumbledore or anything.
No, and obviously it didn't bother his best friends either. Like I think that like Lupin would be like a great situation, because like, Harry feels so isolated so often. Like it would be cool to imagine like Harry sort of almost getting to like, I mean, it's not cool that he would have to witness it, but I think that it would prepare him for what's going to come at school if he was growing up with a werewolf, because he would have so much perspective. And Lupin's such a phenomenal teacher that like, I just think that it's not like Lupin would be like running drills with Harry to like prepare him to be like some extraordinary wizard. I just think that Lupin would be a great aid in helping explore Harry's own interests and curiosities.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be a good fit.
Yeah. So those are my three bets for where Harry likely would have ended up.
Right.
If he couldn't go to the Dursleys.
Yes. But then of course, the big thing is, and really that's what ended up being our catalyst for Ron and Hufflepuff, is that if he goes to the Weasleys, then Ron basically ends up in a situation where he's like, not Gryffindor, because he's already competing with all of his family members. Then when he's also competing with Harry as a brother, it changes the scope of their relationship rather.
Right. And Harry would have been sorted before him.
Harry would have been sorted before him. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's something to look at as well. We do have an entire series that is what if Ron was an Hufflepuff. So if you feel like finding out more about what would happen inside of that situation, we do have a massive video series that you can check out on the Super Carlin Brothers video channel as well. But otherwise, the last little announcement that I want to make before we close out today's episode is that we are in the final zip code of time where you can still sign up for the annual membership for the Gumpine pin and to get access to a page.
Yes, we are. Although when will this episode go live? I think actually as of this episode going live, we will have passed the date.
You're right. Okay. Scratch that. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Forget we said anything.
Never mind. Well, thank you to everyone who did sign up is maybe what we should say, because after the month closes, then we will have our new list and can start sending out pages again.
Yes, we can start sending out pages again, and that's something that we will continue to do. So while the Gumpster Fire pin was only something that we were doing for the promotional event in the month of July, if you sign up for an annual membership for our Patreon at any point in time going forward into the future, we will be sending you a page from one of our books.
Yes.
And what we actually do, in case you're unfamiliar with it or you haven't heard us talk about it in the past, we have a local print shop that we work with that will actually go through, and it sounds terrible every time I say it, but slice the spine off of the edge of our books. And then we have all these pages that are heavily marked up with all of the notes and all the details and the things that we discuss in each of the episodes.
On the show.
Yep. So we will send you one of the pieces of the puzzle, so to speak. So you will have like an official piece of the Through the Griffin Door experience.
Yes.
As like your own little hard copy token or trophy or thing to enjoy.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
that is going to do it. Make sure you join us next week for the final chapter of Goblet of Fire, chapter 37, The Beginning, here on Through the Griffin Door.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.